just as we're coming up to the final topic, of course, Lemmy is a lovely lady, and she loves guys. She can't get enough of them, particularly one guy, the greatest stud of all time, Ray DeVito. Uh,
Ooh.
I personally think that Ray has, for real, the greatest podcast in the world because it's chaos. Like you have no fucking idea what's
It's
going to
not
happen.
chaos. It sounds like a phone conversation.
Really here though, like what one like a couple of weeks ago, he had some political guy on, or no, I know he was speaking to Shuley from his some cabin where he'd been doing a show, and Ray sat back and one of his balls fell out of his shorts. like, how did that even like? How do you lift your knees high enough over a table so that your ball falls out of your shorts? That's Ray DeVito. At the time he was recording a show, and a guy in his underwear appeared in the background and told him to keep the noise down. Like, or then what at the time the fact that Ray records podcasts. He's the only guy who records them in a whisper because he doesn't want to wake up the minute. He's like, hey guys, we've got Metallica coming on the show, and they're going to talk about the '90s releases. And then when he's trying to argue with people, like he's like, I said that I wanted Melton to take that T-shirt down, and I don't want my radar church on sale. You know, it's like, come on, Ray. And the fact that he refuses to get with these women who are giving him every fucking sign in the world. if Mary Jane lived near me and she was giving me the vibes that he does, I'd have banged her like fucking Lars Ulrich snare drum every day for 2 years, and then that's about it. But with the but and then this another one girl, who he was actually staying at her house for a few days. She was literally walking around her house in her underwear, and Ray was like, "Will we go out to the park?" He's like, "No, Ray, you stay in and you have her for the picnic." Oh, but we'll start with you on that one, Ski Mask. You've had a weird up and down with the blood shark, but talk to me about the epic rise of the unstoppable Ray DeVito, baby.
It's been up and down. I don't know. The guy, I love him to death, but God, can he be clueless? It's brutal for me. I don't know. I don't know how you can watch it. Like I try. I told Kevin because Kevin actually asked me one night. He called me on the phone and said, "What about Ray? How much should I have him on? Once a week, please, just once a week." Like it's. I don't. At first, I thought it was a bit, and then I've been around him enough. I'm like, this isn't a bit. It's like the time he had me on his show. He goes, "All right, we're not going to talk about Chad at all. No mention of Chad." And the first question he asked me was about Chad. And so I answered the question. He goes, I told you not to. I'm like, what the fuck? Is he joking? So I was in a bad mood the whole show. And I'm like, he give me this 5-minute spill before the show started. No mention of Chad. No mention of Chad. And then first question out of the gate. So why'd you stop drinking like Chad? That's it. I don't know. I no comment. I'll just leave it at that. No comment. No comment's the best to say right now. I'm still giving it time.
But do you
I
think
like the guy, but Jesus.
But do you think that in a weird way,
if I may interrupt for a second, I think Ski Mask just nailed the essence of Ray DeVito in that one sentence. I like Ray, but then exasperated sigh and God. I think you can end the podcast right there on you go, all right, Ski Mask, I'm going to ask you about Ray DeVito, or however you talk. And he goes,
I speak like this, fucking Ray DeVito.
Hold on. Oh, Ski Mask, great to have you on the show. There we go. I think now I've got it.
Ski Mask, what do you think of Ray DeVito?
I love the guy to death.
Yeah. Boom, cut. That's your clip right there. That's your clip.
But the thing about Ray is that he needs to get over this chasing the stand-up comedian dream, because the way of the touring comedian is dead. The way, weirdly, for comedians to get attention is through podcasting. So he shouldn't be doing like, I'm playing the Poughkeepsie fish shop for $200 on the 31st of October. It'll be great. It's like, no, just keep doing your show more often. Make clips, let it go viral, and more people become aware of the glory of Ray DeVito. And then you can be like, okay, we're announcing a theater tour. We're doing fucking Little Lemmi live, a thon. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful. But Lemmi, you of course are sexually attracted to Ray. That's what you told me in private, and I said I would not bring it up on the air. What's your take on the rise of the Blood Shark? And are you hot for him?
Yeah, he's totally hot. Ray DeVito, sexiest guy on the internet, hands down, for sure. Those beady little eyes are just.
What about the chin? You like the chin?
Dude, the butt chin too, man. I mean,
how about the extra chromosome?
One more hole. That's one more. The more the merrier. The more the merrier.
Something else.
No, I like Ray.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I stepped on you.
No, I'm sorry. No, guys, I'm sorry.
Guys, still tell I'm sorry.
Listen, there's no reason.
My fault.
It's on me. It's 100% mine. All right, fuck it.
It's start over. It's just all cool, you know.
Let's just start the podcast over. Honestly,
yeah.
Somebody reset. Hughezy, say. Let's get back to Cendric.
Hey, these fucking.
That's a really good Ray DeVito.
It is. That's a Ray. You know, Ray's such a racist person.
He's not a bad stand-up, honestly. Like, I've seen him a couple times. I was there for his taping. He's not a bad stand-up.
Did you hear?
I once heard Ray DeVito call people from Iceland Icelanders, and I thought that was really inappropriate.
Yeah. Did you hear that Ray was he was out walking and he seen a wedding happen the other day? So he ran into the church and he shouted, "I fucked her," and ran out again.
That's inappropriate.
Wow.
Did you hear that he once hung out with the Cleveland Browns? I just heard that.
Yeah, I did hear that, but I heard that he called him a different type of word to the face and pulled a knife out.
Cleveland Steamers?
Yeah, that's the word. But but it ended in ER, but wasn't steamer.
Oh.
Yeah. I heard that
one time I was talking to Ray, he wouldn't stop going on and on about the wooden doors on the death camps at the Holocaust. I don't know what he meant by that. I just remember he wouldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Remember that time he went to the Bahamas? It was crazy.
Ray was telling me this story the other day where he was going through the park and he seen a lady breastfeeding a newborn baby, and he walks up there and he said, "You call those tits?" And he slapped the baby and ran away.
I'm starting to think this guy's kind of a prick.
Yeah, I like him though.
I think he's kind of based.
Yeah. But from your perspective with Ray, and it really is, because in the past year his popularity has risen to the point where, like, I think he's the second biggest name on the Shuley network. RIP. If things.
I was going to say, I think he's the only one left on the Shuley network at this point.
Yeah, and of course, Aaron, you were part of a infamous episode on Ray DeVito's show. I kind of got the feeling that maybe you didn't get along with Joe, the producer. Maybe that's just me being slightly autistic about it, but you know.
Yeah. I don't know what gave you the idea. Was it the fact that every time he opened his mouth, he derailed Ray and acted like a little, or was it something else? I don't remember. I think he had marching orders to, like, you got to get Steel Toe. And then Ray told me when we were going to do the thing, he's like, "Hey man, I just want you to come on my show." And I'm like, you know what? I at the time, I'm like, Ray's adorable. Ray's harmless. And then as soon as he announced he's having me on, it was going to be on his channel or something. The location of the interview switched as soon as, like, Shuley and those guys caught on that I was going to be on there. And then I think Ray had orders like, you got to fucking get this guy. Because every time Ray tried to get into a topic or something and we started going back and forth on something and I was being a nice guest, Joe would jump in and he's like, "Hey, what about you being a piece of shit like this?"
Yeah. Like, I remember talking about that. I said the exact same thing on my show. I was like, it seems like Joe was told to butt in because it kind of seemed forced a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he started doing it and then saw that he could get away with it and then just did it at the most inappropriate times. And I was like, this is getting brutal, like halfway through.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there.
He should be sitting in the back. He's like, wait, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's like, what? Shut up. That's for the other guy to say, or the fans.
Yeah.
Like,
he was coming off like remarkably unlikable, and I was just kind of answering the questions that he asked. Like I was like,
I kept trying to remember why I didn't like the guy, but that was
and then I saw the cancer ward shit, and then I find it hilarious that he got beat up by a senior citizen, and he's he's kind of a cheap shot guy, and then he keeps doing these fucked up behind the scenes things that get that YouTube channel in trouble. And it's like, would you just cut it out? Like anytime a behind the scenes, I believe the lovely and talented Suge Knight said it best when he said, you don't want the producers all up in the videos, all up in the songs. I think he's trying too hard to make himself a thing, and it's detrimental to everyone else that's there.
Yeah, but with Ray, do you think that he still needs the Shuli network? Because I've seen a lot of people say that he could almost go off by himself now and wouldn't need Shuli. But personally, I think that he shouldn't rock the boat while it's currently making waves. Huh?
Didn't somebody say he signed a contract, or was that phony? Was that just bullshit?
God, please tell me that streamers
Sony. I made you think that. Thank you, Lemmi. Yeah.
Blue eyes.
No, I think he should do it on his own. Like, I don't care what cut they're taking, but like people who want to watch that. I'm not trying to say Ray's a train wreck, because I agree with Ski Mask 100%. Ray seems like a remarkably likable guy. It's just that, it's a lot of Ray. And I think people will just go watch him wherever he is, and he can keep 100% of, ad revenue and whatever, super chats come his way. He doesn't have to worry about a producer getting him striked for allegedly doing fake super chats, shit like that.
How do you actually fake super chats? Because I've heard of it, but I don't know how.
The last time I heard about it was when YouTube sent out this notification to creators, and it was about this terms of service regarding bot services that are out there that people use, and YouTube's now developed an algorithm to catch them and punish people for it. So like people who are buying subscriptions, buying likes, buying views, using independent third-party bot services, super chats are some of that. YouTube's found a way to detect that and then pop your channel for it. I've heard of at least 4 now. If that's what happened to the Shuli network, because it was a community guidelines strike, that's what those fall under. That's like the 4th channel I've heard that happening to.
Jesus, if that is true, then they may need to cut ties with old Joe, because I've never had any fallouts with Joe, but that's too much work that's gone into that channel to just blow it all away as a way to win an argument.
Right. It's kind of silly, and a lot of those
you buy views, you're a hack.
Yeah, I think
like Chad bought Twitter followers with the credit cards. It's ridiculous.
Okay, but you got to give him credit for this. At least he used someone else's.
Oh,
credit. Get it?
No, I think he really did. Didn't he? He really did use someone else's.
No, yeah, no, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would love to get the credit for that being a good slam, but that was just more of a fact I saw in a documentary.
Do you think that Ray DeVito can get erections? Lemmi?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I think he's asexual. If I'm being honest, I think he's asexual. He's so oblivious, man, that there's no way that he can't be asexual.
I think his anxiety is just so out of control that it just overtakes him, and it just, like you said, it just makes him oblivious. He's the most anxious person I've ever been around. It like being around him, like I love being around him, but it makes me anxious. I'm like, what? He's just always like looking around. I'm like, Jesus, man.
If I ever see him with a woman, I feel like she would have to force herself on him.
I'm down.